Kanye's Power song is one of the most legendary tracks ever made. It's one of the few Kanye songs that everyone knows and recognizes. Released back in 2010 on his My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy album, which is one of the greatest albums of all time. It perfectly encapsulates what Kanye felt and believed in that album and during that time. See, I've said this before about Kanye. He has a very good way of bleeding all that he is into an album, that you can go into each era or album and know exactly what type of person Kanye is or what stage he is going through in life. Power represented the opulence, ambition, and extravagance that Kanye was feeling at the time, and again, so does the album, but Power is the only song that does it completely unfettered and is completely unapologetic about it all. It shies away from nothing. From the samples to the lyrics to the music video with the sword of Damocles hanging over Kanye's head, this is one of the most powerful testaments of art. It's funny, it's almost like when musicians are at their worst sometimes that they make their best music. Kanye, now that he's all Jesus worshipping, probably won't release an album like that again. I'm not saying artists should be assholes, and I for one applaud Kanye's evolution, but I thought it was a funny thing to note. Anyways, let's begin with the song breakdown. Kanye's sampling on this album matched the opulent level it was at too. Kanye would have so many producers and he would sample so many different tracks from so many different genres. He really went all out for this record. Unlike before, he didn't just stick to jazz, soul, and other similar genres for sampling. This time he went all over, spilling heavily into rock. Perhaps Kanye did go into rock territory before, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the album, at least up until that point, that was so varied and eclectic and dove deeply into other genres. There were production, musical movements, moments that were grand and out of left field for that time. Songs like All of the Lights, Monster, Runaway are great examples. I'll probably do song breakdowns of those songs later on and a proper breakdown of the entire album as well, as it totally merits it. This album was like the evil version of T-Pab, where one talks about the dark side of fame and is reflective and humble, and the other embraces it and celebrates it. Either way, that's for another time. Moving into Power, it has 3 samples and they are Afro-America by Continent Number 6, 21st Century Schizoid Man by Crimson Man, and It's Your Thing by Cold Grits. The instrumental contains a very inspirational, hyped and epic chant from Afro-America. The way it comes in, it's like something epic is about to arrive, which there is. It's almost as if it's announcing the coming of a king. Then we have the distorted 21st Century Schizoid Man, vocal sample looped in there from time to time. It sounds vintage and really adds a cool vibe to it. When I first listened to this, I always thought it was John Lennon. The drums themselves come from It's Your Thing by Cold Grits and are about the same BPM. The drums themselves sound grand and immense. There's a great guitar playing as well. The whole instrumental feels like what a god being born must be like. It's as if Jesus is being announced, or Zeus is being pronounced the winner after the Titanomachy, or Shango is banging the sky with his lightning axe. This shit is motherfucking epic. The next thing to look at, of course, are the lyrics. The lyrics really bring home the message, of course, with lyrics like, I'm living in that 21st century, doing something mean to it, do it better than anybody you ever seen do it, screams from the haters, got a nice ring to it, I guess every superhero needs his theme music. Kanye is letting y'all niggas know that he is coming for your necks, no Inspector Deck. Then we got other lines like, stop tripping, I'm tripping off the power, and we ain't got nothing to lose, motherfucker, we rollin', and you short-minded niggas thoughts is Napoleon, my furs is Mongolian, my eyes sprout the goalies, and I embody every characteristic of the egotistic, he knows he's so fucking gifted, which all shows a man who is hungry, impetuous, unapologetic, and ready to risk it all and do whatever, which are the usual traits of people who are about to come into power. Think Alexander the Great before he faced the Persians, or King Henry VII before he fought Richard III, or Kanye before he stole that mic from the Queen Becky Taylor Swift. This is the energy we're dealing with here. The music video includes a myriad of symbols, and I may break those down in another video, but one specific one that I like to focus on is the sword of Damocles, or the dagger or knife or sword you see hanging on top of Kanye's head. The sword of Damocles is an old tale of a man who wanted a king's power after seeing the wealth and opulence he was living in. The king allowed him to have his power for a day, but left a dagger hanging above his head all day tied to a small string. After a day, the worried man said he could have his power back, thus showing the dual nature of power. It is filled with glory and greatness, but at the same time you are marred by paranoia, always constantly under the threat of being killed or taken out by someone else. You spend the rest of your days worried and watching over your back to make sure you survive, which is something we see in most rulers. Kanye could also be warning others or stating something about himself that his position or the position he seeks is not secure nor permanent. It's always under threat and must be constantly fought for, lest you lose your head and position. Overall, Power is one ambitious and great song. It embodies everything you'd expect about power and the lust and chase for it, and it shows the reality of it as well. It doesn't mince words nor try to sugarcoat the glory of power. It merely expresses its grandness and doesn't care to hide anything, which is something that is often necessary, so long as it's done in balance, of course. It's a power trip meant to inspire and fill someone with strength, reminding you, whoever you are, you got the power. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content and analyses just like this. Be safe, loving, and prosperous. Peace.